Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singers, songwriters, and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest is a bold, authentic pop country artist whose music empowers and connects through raw, relatable storytelling. With a sound that blends soul, rock, and country, she crafts songs that celebrate life's highs, navigate the lows, and inspire self-belief. She now calls Kelowna BC home, but originally from Brooks, Alberta, which is a short 2-hour drive east of Calgary. So let's spill the tea with Shalisa Liesch. Welcome, Shalisa.
Hi.
Well, Shalissa, first of all, Brooks, Alberta. Um, we now I know where it is. I have to say, until I met you, I did not know where Brooks, Alberta was. I found out it is just a short 2-hour drive from Calgary. But now you're in Kelowna, much bigger city to be there. And I think you went via Edmonton, if I remember correctly. How how what was the lifestyle change going from Brooks, Alberta out to BC?
Well, funny story. I moved from Brooks before I started in a band to Vancouver, and I didn't realize the culture shock I would have.
Mhm.
I wanted to walk to the mall, and someone said it was just down this road over there, and it took me 2.5 hours to walk there. So sometimes moving to a city is a little bit of a culture shock for small town people, but you be there long enough and you kind of just adapt. So I went from small town to big city Edmonton, and then I moved to Kelowna, which now seems like a small city to me, like a small town. But it's a kind of a nice hybrid. I would say Kelowna's it's like the best of both worlds. You get small town vibes and big city vibes.
When you were in Brooks, Alberta, and thinking about your career, did you ever think that you would be a singer-songwriter star on the stage?
No, I used to sing to like Christina Aguilera and Alicia Keys in my bedroom, trying to sing all the powerhouse R&B singers on my karaoke CDs, but I didn't think it would ever happen for me because there's not really anything guiding you in that direction in a small town, especially. But I just happened to run into a band that was playing at the Brooks Hotel one night, and the guy in the band happened to be a booking agent. So I picked his brain a little bit, and he was about to leave, but I didn't want him to leave because I wasn't done getting all my information. So I just started singing for him. And then, long story long, he ended up hiring me in his band, and then I went on tour, and then that's how it all started. So sometimes you just got to make your own opportunities.
Just a little persistence, that's all it took.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your musical influences, when we talked about them, uh, there really aren't a lot of deep roots of music other than your grandma, is the closest to a musician. So where did you get this desire to become a musician, singer, songwriter?
I've always been pretty creative. I used to make a joke because my older brother, he's super smart. He got 98% on his final physics exam in grade 12 without studying. He's just like
Wow.
kind of a genius. Yeah. And then he left me with all the creative juices in the womb. So he has no creativity, all the brains, and left me with all the arts. And so I was like, oh, maybe I can just sleep on your couch until I make it then, because that's what you left me with. But yeah, we're very different in that way. He's all brains and analytical, and I'm just kind of all over creative everything when it comes to food, painting, music, dressing up.
You did some busking in Kelowna. Tell us about that experience in busking in that town.
It's kind of funny because I feel like the first band I joined, we did a lot of really cool things. I feel like I almost kind of made it in that band. I opened up for a lot of big artists. And then when COVID hit, my bands broke up. My jobs were fell through. So I moved to Kelowna, and I had to start from ground zero. And I didn't play guitar really back in Edmonton. I had bands to do that. And so I had to learn. And I'm like, well, what better way than to do it for free on the street? And actually, to be honest, doing busking was more nerve-wracking than playing on a stage in front of hundreds of people, because you don't have to look at their faces when there's a big crowd. You can look just above. But when you're busking, it's like it's really personal and you can just people make eye contact with you all the time. So you really got to get over this other kind of fear. It's kind of crazy, but I really enjoyed it because I got to do whatever I wanted out there and I wasn't on anyone's payroll. And I made quite a bit of money. So that was nice too.
You play guitar, but you also have another unique way of playing an instrument. You play drums with your feet.
Yeah.
Tell us tell us how do you do that and how did that come about?
I just put the sticks in between my toes and then no, I'm just kidding. I I have a suitcase that I made into a drum. So cut a hole in the front of this vintage suitcase and put a tom in there and bolted it in. And then I put metal on the bottom and bolted that to the suitcase. So then I can put my pedals on it. And so I step with my heels. And so it's behind me. And the right one is the kick drum and the left one is like the snare drum, the snare, I guess. And then I sing and play guitar. So I'm kind of like a one-man band, but I kind of had to because I didn't know anybody out here and I had to make my show a little bit different to stand out.
Sheila, so what does success look like for you? You've been in the business a while now. You've got some success going. What does success look like for you?
Um, I think we all have like what it should like in our heads, like we're a rock star, we're performing, we're touring, we're making a lot of money. And I think that's great. And I think that's a good goal to have, but you got to have like other goals. And so I've created mini goals along the way and I celebrate all of them. So I feel successful quite often because I keep hitting those goals that are along the way of the big dream. But I think making it for me would just be having a sustainable living, doing music consistently and just I'm doing what I love right now full time. So I feel like I've kind of made it in a way.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just a sustainable living with at ease because the music business can be quite up and down. And that's where you weed out the people who really want it and the people who won't try hard to get it because it's definitely a journey. So that's why I create those goals.
Independent artists very often struggle with whether they want the big record deal or not want the big record deal. Getting the record deal, of course, you get some money attached to it. You have some freedoms. You've got other people to do certain things, but you give up, might give up some creativity. You give up decision making on your
Mhm.
career. Is it your goal to land one of those record contracts, or are you very, very happy staying as an independent artist?
So I really did want a record contract at one point. And the more that I'm diving into everything, because I have like 40 tabs open on my computer. So I wear a lot of different hats as a business owner. And it's really rewarding getting the things. Like I got nominated for Female Artist of the Year for BCCMAs and Emerging Artist of the Year in the top 10 for both. And I did that all myself. So the reward of I did it myself is super huge. And yeah, money would be nice, but I feel like having control over my career and my creative journey is very important. And it's kind of hard getting all of those hats under control. But once you do, that's easy. And then you just learn the next step. And I think it's the learning part and not feeling like you're good enough to do those things, but then learning it and then being that person. So I think it's super rewarding being independent. And I think I'm gonna stay here as long as I can.
What's the secret sauce to winning those kinds of awards? There'll be, artists that are just starting out saying, "Oh, wow, how do I win one of those awards? How do I do it?" What's the process that you need to go through? Because those things they don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of work on your part.
I would say just do everything and all the things that you can. Like don't miss any opportunities at all. Um, Surround yourself with people that are better than you so you keep getting better and work every day at what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you know what you're doing, just start doing stuff and then it'll all just kind of start happening. I've been doing this for 4 years on my own now, and it's finally starting to make sense. So, but I sometimes play 5 or 6 days a week. I'm always creating my craft to be better. I am getting creative with my branding. Branding is huge. So you stand out amongst the crowd because there's so much music that's being uploaded every day. So you got to stand out from that and you got to be authentically yourself and create your own path.
We're going to feature one of your songs today, which has just such an entertaining video along with it. And I know we're going to talk about the song. We're going to talk about the inspiration after we play the song. But the video looked like so much fun. You look like you're just having an absolute blast doing it. So the creative for that video, like how did that come about? How did you envision that video being played out in your mind before you actually put it? Because I come from the production side of the business, and I know you don't just throw those things together and they come out looking good. It does take some planning. So what was your thought process? What was the vision for yourself or that you had when you were planning that video?
So the video specifically after the song was done being recorded, they sent me an unmastered version. And I was driving from Kelowna to Alberta back to Edmonton. So I had quite a drive. I listened to that song on repeat the whole way. And
Wow.
each time I did, I had more idea come to fruition in my brain. So when I'm driving, I feel like since I have ADHD, I have to be doing something to think of other things. So it kind of I can focus really well while I'm driving. And so I just replayed what I was going to be doing in my head like over and over and over for like 10 hours. And then I eventually wrote it down on a piece of paper. I had a few friends that were going to help me out with the video. I made and I had one light, like one photography light that I could use. And ended up just putting it all together, and then I edited it on CapCut. I put it all together myself, and it turned out pretty good for my first music video. I think it's not too shabby.
It
But I
is.
kind of I like quirky twists too. So the song Bad Hangover, it's pretty plain. Like the message is like toxic love. Okay, well everyone writes about toxic love, whatever, it's a thing. But the video is what's going to make things different. So, you know, I switched it around so it's not them doing harm to me, really. It's I turn out to be the crazy one and I make it all up in my head and then there's this weird twist at the end. So go
Well,
check
the people that
it.
you have in the video with you do an amazing job of I want to say, without insulting you, a little bit of overacting, which just makes the video even more entertaining. At least
That's all me. I'm very like over the top. So like, I wanted to make it seem weird, right? But I have two actors in it actually that were very great. They do acting and they followed what I wanted to a T. And I just want to throw that out there that Graham Daly is like the main actor in that one.
Mhm.
He was pretty great and he helped me out a lot actually.
Let's get into one of the songs that Shalisa wrote. This song was released in November of 2024 and co-written by Shalisa along with David Faber, David Thompson, and Philip Puxley. So let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Shalisa Liesch and her song, Bad Hangover.
You promised me the world, said I was your girl, said we'd always be together. Now got water and two pills. I'm just trying to kill the heartache that just won't get better. I numb myself from the pain, from the pain. But when I wake up every day, feels like a cannonball sitting on my shoulder, rolling out of bed like a 10-ton boulder. Don't think it's possible to move any slower. Your love it hit me like a bad, bad hangover. Your love it hit me like a bad, like a bad. Your love it hit me like a bad hangover. I can't blame no one else. I did this to myself when I let you walk through my door. I knew that you were trouble, trouble, trouble. So important, another double, double, double. Feels like a cannonball sitting on my shoulder, rolling out of bed like a 10-ton boulder. Don't think it's possible to move any slower. Your love it hit me like a bad, 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 bad hangover. Your love it hit me like a bad, like a bad. Your love it hit me
That was Bad Hangover by Shalisa Liesch. Shalisa, as I've said before, it's an entertaining video. I love the song. Tell us, what's the song about and what was the inspiration to write it?
It's kind of funny because I was in a songwriting festival last summer, and that's where I met these guys. There was music at nighttime, and then during the day on Saturday and Sunday, there was songwriting with all of the artists that were at this festival. And Sunday rolled around, and only half the people showed up because, I mean, the festival went pretty late at night times. So I dragged myself out of bed, and I got there, and we were all drinking coffee. I ended up getting placed with these guys, and we sat there for about an hour, not writing anything. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to get anywhere, but at least I got to meet these guys. They're quite famous to me, so I was pretty excited about that. And I was just sitting there, I went over a chord progression that I wrote with one of my other songs just to kind of get my juices flowing. And then I sat there and I remembered one songwriter once told me I was trying to write a fast country song, but I was drained from the day. And he's like, Shalisa, how are you feeling? And I'm like, tired. And he's like, well, why are you writing a fast song? It's really inauthentic. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I remembered those words from Shard Morrison from Alberta, really good, really great songwriter. And I remember that in this moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, let's write about something that we're feeling. And so we wrote a song called Bad Hangover. But we associated it with toxic love because toxic love can feel like a bad hangover.
So many people will ask, is this a personal song or a song that you had an experience with, or was it something you completely made up?
No, I've had a lot of toxic relationships in my past. I'm not sure if I should be patting myself on the back or like, running, I don't know. But I had them, I learned from them, but they were very terrible. So it's just something that I think a lot of people can relate to. It's whether or not it's you that's bringing the toxic in, or if they just find you, whatever it is. Lots of people deal at least with one toxic relationship. And so I think it's quite a relatable song. Also, the day after you go drinking, it just doesn't feel great. And so I think with that being said, if someone's in a toxic relationship right now and they can kind of relate with that and they're like, oh, why am I here? So maybe my hope is to have them realize that it's not good for them. Maybe get out,
And I would say anybody that's contemplating dating you needs to be very careful, because if they watch the video and they treat you badly, it's not going to end well for them. Shalisa, tell us, how do people find out more about you and your music? What's the website? What are the socials? What are the streaming platforms?
Well, my socials on Instagram is the only Shalisa with periods in the middle of each word. And same with my TikTok, it's the same. My Facebook is Shalisa Orange Crush. I don't know how to change that. I made it a really long time ago. But I love orange, if you can't tell. Orange is my color, so that's those are the things. And the link in my bio has my website and everything else you need to know in there.
We have been in conversation with Shalisa Liesch. Shalisa, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.